Hi, this is Dee with Mobile Home Flipper. I wanted to create a video today to help you basically understand how to save possibly even up to tens of thousands of dollars when moving a mobile home. We have moved quite a few mobile homes over the years. This one behind me is one that takes the cake. We learned some additional lessons, so it never is without learning in any industry. We did learn quite a bit on this one as to some additional things to check and make sure. So I'm going to go through some of the things that I would highly recommend that you're checking on before you go ahead and move a mobile home onto somebody else's land. Okay, this one was moved into a large conglomerate's one of their parks. We had some concessions that were offered to us. They typically offer a rebate on some of the moving costs and typically will give you at least a month's without rent and utility hookup. The thing that I want to point out, though, is that you need to go through a checklist of things to make sure that you're not going to end up getting caught in a bad situation. Once you move a mobile home onto a piece of land, especially in our area, it's pretty expensive. So you don't want to have to move it again. So you kind of get stuck there. And then also you have a relationship management that you have to deal with. Because if you have already persuaded them to allow you to move a mobile home on there, then you move it back out, and it causes potential problems where now they have a vacant lot again. You reneged on what you said you were going to do. So there's a lot of different types of issues that arise with that can cause basically hogtie you to a scenario that isn't going to be profitable for you, or as profitable as it could have been. So we're turning this one into something where we're making it a positive. We muddled through. We learned our lesson. We're not going to do it again the same way without some of the checks and balances. So what did happen with this home? What was here prior was another manufactured home that had burnt down to the ground, basically. And when that typically happens, the city's normally going to pull all meters. Utility companies are going to pull all meters off of there because they don't want somebody by accident to turn on utilities and have a big old disaster on their hands within the community. So when those are pulled, you basically are hitting a reset button, if you will. And that reset button typically will require a bunch of checks and measures that'll need to be done in order to be able to get utilities back on. I'm not going to go into the specifics or details of that, but here is the first question you need to ask. What happened to the home that was here prior? If it was a fire situation, and also you end up looking at the home site where your wonderful little home is going to be moved to, and you do not see meters currently in place, you need to start asking questions of the landowner, whether it's a private party, whether it's a park that you have a relationship with. You want to make sure meters in place. And if they're not in place, you want to start asking questions as far as, was there a fire that took place? Is it due to this home can't be moved onto a lot due to permitting? And in some cases, there's scenarios where you move a mobile home off and you can't put something back in even remotely close to what was there. So that's another question that needs to be asked. Just so that you're not moving something on there and then not able to get enough permits. You need to do your due diligence in order to alleviate a lot of additional headaches and expenses. There was a lot of back and forth with the city, the utility company, the park itself and their corporate office. And the problem with all of that is we didn't have a lot of control over the time frames and their time frames for getting things done. So that's the other variable. So you might be thinking, well, why was that their responsibility? Well, this is our land. It's their land. We're just renting a space. So until those improvements are on their land. So you got to make sure, whether it's a private party, whether it's a large conglomerate, that they're prepped and ready to go for you to place your home there so that you can go ahead and get that thing rehabbed and put back on the market. The faster you can get these things set, rehabbed, and back on the market, the more money you can potentially make. You ideally want to make sure that you are buying, fixing, and selling within the same market, especially with a downturn taking place, a recession occurring. Otherwise, you're going to start losing money. Okay, you start having a hard time being able to have your numbers work if you're in a shifting market and you've taken too long and your numbers aren't going to be the same. You're going to start losing money. So what we're trying to do is help you to avoid some pretty big expensive pitfalls. In a lot of cases, there's plenty of free homes. I have been offered free mobile homes just moving off my land for years. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And so if you're considering moving a mobile home, this is basically one of the reasons why you team up with somebody that's an expert like us. I personally have over 20 years experience in the industry, owning parks as well as also owning individual mobile homes and working throughout the country. So not just Utah, but also other areas throughout the U.S. There are a lot of different factors that you have to take into consideration when you're moving a mobile home in, and this happens to be one key thing. The utilities being hooked up and available, and the cooperation of the utility company, the city, as well as also the park itself, and then also their corporation. Because the manager could be sweet as punch, but if their corporate is slow as a sloth, that's going to cost you money. So the big things are, make sure you're doing enough due diligence before you move a mobile home anywhere. You don't want to affect your relationships, because once you move it there and you've established a rapport with those parks, even the district manager or even the corporation or the owner of that park, you don't want to end up ruining that by potentially have to move it back out just so that you can actually save your bacon on this deal, because it's just taken too long and they might be inexperienced, they may not care, because they can start charging you rent and then take this over. So in some cases, they're just unscrupulous. So what we're trying to do is just give you some ideas and pointers of the ways to be able to avoid losing and missing out on tens of thousands of dollars, being in the hole, rather than making a profit in this business. If you want to learn more about how we do our business, how to avoid some of these money-sucking problems, and learn from somebody who has tons and tons of experience in this industry, please feel free to click the link below. I will be on the other side, more than happy to help you to be able to understand how to be successful in this business and navigate away from the things that we on a regular basis end up coming across. A lot of times we end up faring quite well from them, just because we have the experience and networks in the deeper pockets. But if you're just getting started, this is not something you want to run head on into and have that as your personal issue. So feel free to give a click on the link below to be able to learn quite a bit more about the systems and the experience that we have and how we can help you to alleviate some of these obstacles as you get started within your new career of mobile home investing.